It's the story of kind of every post-industrial town up and down the country. Birkenhead's not really anything different. Birkenhead's got like a beautiful side to it with like Hamilton Square and a lot of the grandeur that comes with its quite storied past, some of which is kind of like lost in the sands of time. In most people's minds, people who live here and people who live in the surrounding areas, when they think of Birkenhead, they think of something a little bit more dilapidated and not as fancy as that, because Birkenhead's reputation in the past 20, 30, 40 years isn't Hamilton Square or the Grand Birkenhead Park. It's kind of a story of decline. It's a story of there not being a huge amount of stuff around.
I suppose culturally, like, there's so much more going on the other side of the water. The river is a physical barrier, and it's also a psychological barrier. Not that it's separate, it's just another part of the ecosystem. It's just a ferry ride across or 2 minutes in the tunnel. Now we've got a little bit of stuff going on in Birkenhead as well.
Overspill, workhouse, up the hill, parallels, oh my god, getting busy, getting fed, Birkenhead.
You're not going to change Birkenhead by gentrifying it, kind of like raising the land value and getting people to come and move into hip new flats. That's not what it is. You're going to change Birkenhead by changing the way people feel about it, and you start with making people feel proud about where they're from and what's on their doorstep.
Birkenhead and the Wirral's got its own story to tell. You know, some of the most amazing music and some of Liverpool's most successful musical kind of outputs have come from this part of the world, but for years and years and years there wasn't venues here, there was nothing in the way of music infrastructure, and all of those kind of potential positive impacts for the local place were being lost really because there wasn't a platform that was there to celebrate them. Future was established to kind of reimagine the role of a live music venue as a place that can bring about real, meaningful social change. We're a live music venue, so we welcome some of the most exciting new music from all around the world onto our stage. But we also, think about the role that a music venue can play in terms of providing opportunities for local young people.
Training and like development stuff that we do at Future Yard is the most rewarding thing in the world. There was no one around to show me how to do things when I first started working in music. Everyone kept their cards very close to their chest, and I think what we want to do is just make sure that all of the information and all of the knowledge that we've amassed over the many years of working in music, that we can pass it on to other people.
My name's Felipe. My job title is production engineer and I'm 17. 2019, I think it was just before my 15th birthday, and I volunteered on the Future Yard Festival. Late 2020, I started the soundcheck program. I got to see a lot more of different sides of the industry that I hadn't seen before, as well as just solidifying what I knew at more of a standardized industry standard kind of level. I think it's the best job out there. So,
music venues have needed a kind of a paradigm shift for probably 20 years. That traditional model of a venue that opens at 7 o'clock and closes at 11 and is shut all day is dead. And the forces of gentrification and the way that the world has changed, and kind of the property values within city centres, and all of those issues that are seeing us losing tens of music venues, a month in this country. So I think we've got to find new ways of doing things. Music venues, grassroots music venues, are like the R&D department of the UK music industry. They have been since day dot, but they've never framed themselves as that.
One of the kind of like the legacy things that we want to do is, make people think a little bit more positively about where they're from. Music is an amazing way of doing that. I think it's a great way to bring people together at a great level, of people maybe from different backgrounds who haven't spoken to each other or never met, never connected. And it's a great conversation starter. So we hope through the kind of like the variety of things that we're doing and the community programme.
My name's Matt, I'm the venue booker here, so I'm in charge of booking all the bands in. Booking side of everything isn't actually that sexy. Most of the time it's just spent on spreadsheets and trying to sell tickets to people, which isn't the fun part, but like being able to book bands that you love. As a pure vanity thing, it's booking bands in the place you're from and like bringing people to Birkenhead, you know, and like hearing like an American hip hop artist saying, "Hello Birken Vegas," like it doesn't really get much better than that really. Birkenhead's where I'm from and it's where I've loved, and the gigs that I've done, the first sort of gigs that I ever did were on this side of the water. Some more successfully than others, usually just like beg, stealing and borrowing, like backline, and now it's just great to have a room where I can just go in and book really good people that might never have come to Birkenhead. I mean, like tonight, like Bodega played Birkenhead twice and not played Liverpool, which feels like somewhat of an achievement, if not completely tribalist.
Music venues have always been community interest companies because they're there to support local communities. Being a CIC means that we have to do that and recognise that in a statutory sense, but also just in terms of being the kind of organisation which is relevant in 2022, our environmental impact and our sustainability work, and making sure that we're hopefully leaving the environment in a more positive state as a result of us being here than, you know, it would have been if we hadn't been here in the first place.
Maybe in a few years the way people see Birkenhead will be different to the way they've seen it in the previous 5 to 10 years.
To try and build something like this, you just need a really passionate group of people who are, you know, from the place that you're looking to build and are wanting to build something amazing. Nothing's impossible really. You know, I think that music venues kind of have a purpose and have always had a purpose in the world and community, but I think that they can provide more and more.
We want to make sure that we've got, you know, a really, really interesting community of bands and artists that are accessing services here, from having a space to kind of base their project, to being given mentorship and like a programme of workshops and masterclasses, so that we can get them from having music as a passion to professionalising and thinking about it as a career as well.
The impact will be a kind of lot broader than basic numbers and footfall through shows here at the venue. It's going to be kind of have a wider, I suppose, societal impact, and maybe in a few years the way people see Birkenhead will be different to the way they've seen it in the previous 5 to 10 years.
We're essentially clustering R&D, talent development, pipeline for skills, putting all that in one building, creating all the connections that creates, put that in a place that really, really needs it, where it can bring about profound change. And that is when special things should, over time, with the right people, the right ideas and a big dollop of good luck, you've got half a chance.